Good day, Andrew and Natalie and Nathan, Lydia and Mason. Here we have a picture that we're going to start looking at for our art class today. This one was painted by, his name is Pieter Bruegel, the elder. That means there was a younger. He had a son that painted too. He was Flemish, and I believe that's a part of the Netherlands, and it is a winter landscape. So this is the picture, and this is the fella. This is Mr. Pieter, and they would probably pronounce his name a little bit different, Pieter or something of that nature. But he's the one who painted this particular picture right here that we're looking at today, and we're going to see our vocabulary words through this picture. The first one was landscape. The name is called winter landscape, and so we can see that it's happening in the winter time because of the snow that's going on here. There's snow on the rooftops, and so we can see that it's in the winter, and it's a landscape, meaning that we could see all into the distance. We can see the towns, and we can see the trees, we can see the river, and in the back here we can see a church and everything in the background, and in the foreground we can see people ice skating on the river here. And so this is a winter landscape. Oh, there's a church here. Do you see the bird up in the trees over there? So those are the things that we're noticing. But we're going to notice, let's look at the color of this picture. Remember what color is? Color is a reflection of light off of an object. And so there's different colors, and we have two different options of colors that we're looking at here today, or we want to remember. The warm colors, which are your yellow and your orange and your reds and little violets, or your cool colors, which are your greens and your blues and your violets. And so as we think of that, which of these is this picture? Is this winter landscape warm colors, or is it cool colors? Which do you think? They're more warm colors, aren't they? Yes, they are more warm colors. That's what this is. Now remember the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. As we look at this, we don't really see too many of those just jumping right out at us. And then you have the secondary colors, which are orange and purple or violet and green. And those aren't really all in here too. They're sort of muted. And so we're not seeing any of those true colors, but we are seeing that it's a warm type of environment with its browns and its light colors that are going on. Now we also have studied lines, and there are a number of different kind of lines, as you can see here in this picture. And so let's see what kind of lines we can find. Let's first look for the horizontal lines, which go side to side. Do we see any of those? There's a horizontal line right there. On the tops of the roofs, there are horizontal lines. How about, let's go to the next one. Vertical, that means up and down. Yes, we can see vertical lines on the sides of the buildings. This tree is a little bit wonky vertical. That one's a little bit straighter. The sides of the buildings, vertical lines. Okay, so how about diagonal? That means it goes from side to side, more of an angle. Do we see any of those in this particular picture? Yes, some of the roofs have angles to them. There's an angle to that roof right there. So there's diagonals in this picture as well. Okay, so that is what we have studied, the winter landscape, and we're going to be looking at a project here that's going to use a couple of our vocabulary words as well. The first thing we need to do is we need to have a mat of some kind so we don't get any paint all over the table. And then we're going to be doing a painting today. All right, so this painting is going to be just like the winter landscape was a winter. This is going to be a winter one as well. And when we look at it, we're going to look at a palette. We've used this term before. What colors are we going to use? All right, so we're going to be using the blue and yellow and red. We're also going to use some white. We're going to use a little bit of black and brown, but we're going to use the primary colors mostly as we go through this. We're going to be using those, and you're going to see an interesting way that we're going to use them. And then we have to be concerned with our brushes. All right, we've talked about brushes before, and we're going to do it one more time because our brush has three parts. It has the brush, the bristles, it has the ferrule, this part right here, and then it has the handle. I like to call this ferrule the danger zone because when you brush, you don't go all the way to the edge. No, back it all the way up and hold it on the other side of your ferrule. Okay, so that's how we hold our brush. So when we do paint, that's what we want to do. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need is a piece of paper. On this, underneath this video, you're going to see a link to this particular template, and you can copy this template out, and you can use this to paint on it, or you can just do it on another piece of paper. Now, my suggestion is another piece of paper, and I will show you why. I'm not sure if you can see why. This is the project that we're going to be doing right here, and it's not very stiff. It's a little crinkly, and I don't know if you can see how it just sort of bends around quite a bit because it's been painted on there. Sometimes it's worse than others. This one isn't too bad. This was done on the stiffer board, and it just sort of lays flat real nicely. Okay, and if it just starts to bend a little when it's drying, you can tape it down and it will lay flat. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is we're going to be making that project. So if you get your template out and you decide, well, I'm going to do it on that paper, that's fine. Otherwise, what you can do is you can cut out those two pieces, the globe part and the base part, and then you can put it on here and use it as a template. I reach ahead, around there because I put all of my tools on that side. That wasn't very smart. All right, so if you use this as a template, you're going to draw around it a circle. All right, you may not be able to see it when I pull it out. You may be able to. I don't know. Yes, you can. And then you're going to take this, and then you're going to just draw around it. So, well, it'll be easier to paint on the other. Okay, go ahead. You can do it that way. But this way, you have it on a hard surface. All right, so as we said, we're going to be using a palette that has, let's open it up the right way. There we go. I already got a couple of things going on here, which is a little bit seeing into the future, but let's start with a big old dollop of blue. All right, so see how I'm holding my thing? And so I'm going to go around this thing here. Now notice I'm not just going back and forth this way, but I'm trying to follow what they call it the contour. We'll use the word shape of the globe. All right, so the globe is going like this in a curved line. We're making a point right about here in the process, and we're just coming from that point down. It almost looks like hair on the top of a head at this point, because this is the point that we're coming to. All right, and now we're going to come around, go all the way around. You can use as much paint as you want to use, because in between each of the different parts, you're going to want to let it dry. Okay, so here we go. So now we got the bottom of it, and so now we're going to come back up into the lines that we had going already. Now, doing it the way that I'm doing it gives you the thought of it being round. If you went back and forth like this, it would not have that same thought of being round. All right, I'm going to take a break here a second and we're going to let that dry. Okay, we're back. So it's still wet, but I thought I would just do this bottom part here while it's wet. And I wanted to show you this because some of you really, really like to mix colors. And so that's what we're going to do a little bit because we want a brown base. All right, now you might have a brown color, you might not. But let's see if we can't make a brown, shall we? What we're going to need is all of the primary colors, blue, red, yellow. Those are the primary colors. You're going to need to have those, and you want to put them on your palette about the same amount in each. And I always put too much paint on my palette, which is unfortunate, but that's okay because you can definitely see what's going on. What you're going to want to do is pull a little bit of yellow into the middle, pull a little bit of blue into the middle, pull a little bit of red into the middle, and then go in circles. And when you go in circles, what you're going to come up with is a brown. And if you want that brown to be lighter, pull in a little bit more yellow, and it will be brighter. Yep, lighter, not brighter, lighter. All right, so now we have a good brown color, see? I'm going to try not to touch the top too much to get, but it's pretty dry. I got a little bit of blue there. We have a dark yellow going on here. And this base I've got going some bumps or whatever, ridges on the sides. So we want to make sure we get those ridges. But after we get the ridges in going down, what we want to do, I'm going back to my brown that I mixed in the middle, is we want to go back and forth from side to side. Why do you suppose we want to go back and forth from side to side? Well, if your thought was so that it looks like it is going, jumping out from the page and is going, we think that it's boom right there. You're right. That's sort of what we're doing it for. All right, if you were going up and down, it wouldn't quite look like the base like we have going on here. So that's all of the painting that we're going to do right now with our brush. We're going to be doing some more painting, but we're going to be using Q-tips for that painting to make it look like snow. So we're going to put this away and we're going to clean that up. So I'll see you in just a minute. It's not quite dry, but I want to get busy on it, and it'll do if I'm careful. All right, so what we want to do on this next part is we want to take a Q-tip, okay, and you can use a couple of them, but you could probably get it all done with one. I have some white paint here, and I trust that you have some white paint as well. You can use whatever white paint you can find. And what I'm going to do is I am going to make dots with my white paint here. All right, and we're going to take those dots and make a circle. I'm skipping a little bit of spots where I think it might be still a little wet, but I'm going to just make a big snowball with those white dots. And I'm going to do the same thing above it and make it a little bit smaller. All right, now if you want it to make sure that you can tell the difference, you can go back over. That's what I did on the other one. I made this one bigger so I can make sure that they were two different sizes. And now we need to have a head. So if you look, I'm dotting it. I'm not. Now I want this one bigger than that one, so I'm going to go make it bigger. Well, since that one's bigger, let's make this one bigger. All right. You got to just work with these things. All right, so then what we do, put a few, oops, moved you a little bit, dots around, because we're talking about a snow globe here. And you can add more, you can add less, whatever you want to do. But I think I'm going to leave it like that for right now. So that doesn't look like a snowman. No, we need some more parts. So this is where our glue and cutting comes in. Hopefully you have just a little bit of paper, some brown paper. And you can take some brown paper, put some glue on it, of course, and then just stick it on there for a hand, go in that direction. And then I got some more brown paper here. Let's see here, and I'll stick it for a shorter hand. Let's see here, let's go up in that direction. Oh no, it's stuck to my finger. All right, let's go up this direction. Looks like it's got an airplane coming in. Now I got some black that I cut into a T, and I'm turning it upside down, and I'm putting it right on top, just like that. All right, so there we go. We've got the hat, we've got the arms, and we've got the snowman. You say, wait a minute. We need to have the charcoal things. Yes, we do. It's going to be too wet right now to do that, so I'll just show you on the one that I already did. There you go. The only thing I missed was a scarf, so be creative. Add yourself a scarf, and then let me see what your ending project looks like. All right. I hope you have fun.